One thing I found out about life is that the journey of life is an individual race. Um, Whatever your journey is in life, have you ever wondered why has my own life taken this path? Have you ever asked yourself the question, why do I have to go through these crossroads to get to my final destination? Life has a way of, my friends who say, life in. And today, my guest on Broken Not Shattered is a young lady who had to navigate life's crossroads with a very interesting story that I have found inspirational, uplifting, and encouraging. Welcome to the BNS Podcast for the first time, Esther Salifu. Hi, Esther. How are you?
So my name is Esther Salifu. I am a journalist. I work as a journalist for an online newsroom. That's what I do currently. I'm a graduate of theater arts. Basically, that's it.
You're back in your local country right now as we speak. We know that you've had a very interesting journey to get to where you are right now. Uh,
Yes.
sh- Share with our audience who are all over the world listening
Okay.
to you today how your journey to out of the country the first time started.
Okay. So I think I pretty much came from a normal family, mother, father, and at a point I remember when I was younger that my mom was always sick. She was she'll she'll be sick, she'll travel to the village, then she'll come back. And at that point she was basically the one financing most things because my dad's job was not paying much. But she was a trader. She made sure she took care of us and they had their own challenges as couples. So I think after a while, there was a time she went to the village promising to come back. And one day I just knew something was not right. I was in basic three, I was seated outside, just felt this cold sensation around me. I knew that something wasn't right, but I didn't know what it was. They called my dad in and they were like, okay, something happened. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. We can all hear you.
Okay. All right. And they were like, something happened. Your wife, she's passed.
Wow.
And, I heard him shout. They came around, they gathered us, family members, and that was the beginning of difficulty because she was like the backbone that we had.
That was the
And
breadwinner
at
of the
that
family.
point, yeah, at that point, I had like we are five, but the last one was very young. She was few months old. So when mom say went to the village, they took the baby from her. They took the baby from her and they started taking care of our sisters, started taking care of the baby, and that was how she passed. So after a while,
That's how the baby
we
passed or your mom passed.
no, the baby did not pass. My mommy passed.
Okay.
The baby did not pass.
Okay.
Yeah, she's fine. She's a big girl now.
Yeah.
So we're five, and after a while, my dad got transferred to another state. So he remarried. He remarried. We got transferred, and things were pretty normal before. When I got to university, my first year, second year, I received a call, and that day I could still remember vividly. The person said, "Yeah, it's like your dad passed. Your dad is dead. I'm hearing rumor your dad is dead." I was like, God forbid,
Wow.
because he actually traveled for a burial in the village.
Mm.
Hello.
I can hear you. We can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Listen. Go
Okay.
ahead.
He
Don't stop,
actually
please.
traveled
Keep on
for
talking. Yeah, just keep on talking.
okay. He actually traveled for a burial at the village. So his in-law died. My mom at that time, my mom's elder sister husband died. So he went for the burial. And while he was coming back, he was involved in an accident,
Oh wow.
and he died instantly.
Wow. Wow. And how old were you at that time?
I was roughly 18
Wow.
because I was already in school.
Wow.
I got admission 16, 17. So when they told us that he's late, and it was a stranger that told me. At first they were trying to hide it because I was very close to my dad. I was basically like a daddy's girl growing up. So we went to the village, we did the burial, and I think that was it was difficult financially continuing school
Wow.
because yeah, it was very difficult. My stepmom was trying her best. We were also, I even thought I would drop out from school,
Wow.
but somehow then the school fees was not as expensive as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was a struggle.
So were you able to
Feeding
finish?
was it now?
Were you able to finish? Were you able to finish school?
Yes, I
Okay.
finished.
Okay, that's
I
good.
finished.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic news.
yeah.
So you finished
So I
school.
was
Then what next happened to you?
okay. So when I finished my school, I entered the dating world. The highlight of the problem started. I entered the dating world, and I took in.
Oh,
That was
oh,
like the beginning of my journey.
all
That
right.
was what led me to travel out. I took in, I stayed with the mother of the guy, and it was rough. Every day, it was like from one climax of trouble to the other. We were not getting along because here's a woman that had single handedly raised her children, and she was expecting that this child would finish and take care of her, and this child only for him to almost finish and then come back with a pregnant lady. So it was that point of my life was hell.
Basically, she saw you as an obstacle to what her plan.
Yes, as an
You were
obstacle, a
not
girl
part of
that
the
didn't
you were not part of the agenda at all. So here you are now,
know.
trying to
Yes,
disrupt her
a
plans
girl.
and
I
all that
remember
she
she
had
would
worked for.
wake her younger children up and she would be like, "This one your brother has carried. This one that has no family. This one that came from." She referred to me, stigmatized me because I had no parents. There was this stigma on a daily basis. So it kind of broke me down, but I just kept telling God, please let my child survive. But
Mm.
after I gave birth to my boy, I had to leave. I didn't even know where to go back to. I didn't know what to do. I had a child in 2017. In 2018, I lost two siblings within a week. Yeah.
What?
I got a call.
Were you the first child?
No, I was the third. So we lost the first and my immediate, the fourth.
Wow. Within a week.
So yeah, within a week. So I got a call because at that point I was not home with them. I was trying to struggle and get back on my feet with my son. So I got a call, and your sister is no more. How come? What happened? Nobody could give me a reason. Nobody could explain.
This is
Since
your
she had
older sister or
difficulty,
your younger sister? This is the older sister.
my elder sister,
Okay.
the first child,
Yeah.
she was the first child.
Mm.
Then I have a brother, and then me, and then a brother and a sister. So it's a girl, a boy, a girl, a boy, like that. So I just got the news. My whole world just went down. I traveled at that point. My baby was 9 months. My baby was 9 months. Yes, I traveled for the burial. My younger brother did not come. The immediate that passed did not come
Mm.
for the burial. So we're expecting him, and then we got a call again where he was. He went to visit his friends after school to just see whether he could get something doing there. And we got a call. that he drowned. Like, how come? Drowned? How? Where? So my uncles, at that point, we were vulnerable. We could not go. We're vulnerable. We're still mourning the death, like few days death that we've not even mourn. So there's my uncles went there, and they were like, this case is somehow, how can you say this boy entered the river to swim and his clothes are on, because they brought his corpse, his clothes are on, his wristwatch. Who will enter the river to swim with all those things on?
Mm-hmm.
But there was no answer. They said they had to bury him there. They could not bring him back home. So they buried him there. We did not even see the corpse. So at that point, I was already losing it. I think mentally I was unstable.
Wow. This is a lot for
I
anyone
could
to.
not.
This is quite a
I,
lot for anyone to take on.
yeah,
A lot of loss, a lot of
yes,
bereavement. One thing I've known that when people lose loved ones, it takes a major toll on you, a major toll. Sometimes that toll could even have a psychological impact, you know, to the point where one begins to literally lose their mind and lose their thought process. With grief or loss, there's a very high level of depression, and sometimes if you don't get the help or you're not surrounded in the right environment, it can have a terrible impact on you. On behalf of the entire podcast, I am so sorry for your loss, losing your mom and then your dad, your big sister, and your younger brother. I know that would have taken a toll on you. We're going to take a break just for everyone to kind of take in Esther's story. We'll take about a 10-second break. When we come back, we'll hear the next crossroad that Esther had to go through as she left the country and the challenges she faced when she came back. The show is not on for a long time, it's 30 minutes, and we're just halfway into it. So I think this is a good place to take a break. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the BNS Podcast, Broken Not Shattered. Please like, follow, and also click the notification button on your app. This will enable us constantly let you know when our show is coming back up. We'll be back in a few minutes with Broken Not Shattered. Welcome back to Broken Not Shattered, the BNS podcast. My guest today is Esther Salifu, and Esther has told us a very interesting story about what she had gone through as a young lady, and now she is about to tell us the second part of her life, where she now left the country. Esther, our audience would like to hear what you have to say about the journey out of the
okay,
country. And yes,
okay.
let's go to you.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, so I knew I could not take care of the child anymore because I was depressed, but I didn't know I was depressed. I didn't know what it means to be depressed.
Yes.
I would carry the child, I would hit him on the ground, I would beat him for little offenses. I was just I could not, and the country, I couldn't get a job to fend for the child. I couldn't fend for my child. At that time, my child was close to 2.
Frustration.
So I was, yes, I was frustration, no job,
Yeah.
no source of income, and then you are struggling. And I remember I took the child away.
Yeah.
Because they asked me if I would drop it. I drop him. I said no. So I took the child from them. So I had to call the father of the child. I told him, please, I think your mom will have to stay with this child for me. Yeah, your mom will have to take care of this child. I want to
What did you
travel.
then do, Esther? What did you do? What I
Okay,
want
so
to hear
I
this.
met an agent.
Yes.
I met an agent, and the agent was like, okay, they can take me. You travel out of the country with just little amount of money. You actually go there, you teach them English because they're Arabians, they can't speak English.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, since you're a graduate and you're good. So I was like, okay. And when you get there, you would start paying with like 2-3 months salary. You are done paying, and then you continue receiving. So you'll be fed, you'll be clothed, all those promises. So I traveled there. When I
And where
went there,
and where is there?
when I say there, I mean Lebanon.
Okay, you went to Lebanon.
Okay. So yes, when I traveled to Lebanon, when I went there, there were like about three Nigerians there. There was a girl that was working as a maid in the compound. There was another one, and then I joined them. Only for me to come there, I was like, this was not the agreement. This was not what you told me I was coming here to do. But I was there already. I couldn't go back. I couldn't. You couldn't even call anybody. I called the agent, and the agents there, and she was like, if you don't stay there, they may give you another home, and in that home, you'll be raped, you'll be beaten, you don't know what will happen to you. Since you say this your boss, they are not doing things like that to you. Why not stay?
Mm.
So I was a nanny taking care of a girl who's about roughly 13, 14. And then I'll still be the one to clean the house, arrange the house. So the girl could not walk, she could not talk. So you basically have to carry her, change her diaper for her. She wears diaper
Hold on a
all
second.
day.
Are you talking about
Okay.
a 14-month or a 14-year-old child?
14 years old.
So okay, so she had a disability.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, all right. So you
Yes.
take you find yourself as basically a caregiver to a child with disability.
Yes, yes, yes.
All
So
right.
when the other lady ran away because she was not being paid. We're not being paid, we're not being treated well, food, no good food. So she ran away. My other, they call her Faith. So
Yeah,
Faith
yeah,
ran
policy.
away. So I had to be, I couldn't run, I was scared. She told me we should. I said no. So when Faith left, so I was no longer a caregiver. I was now the help. You were even referred to as the slave. I was basically the slave. I was the help there, and I was the one taking care of the child. So
Wow.
and the contract was for 2 years. And I found out there that there were a lot of people, broken people like me, there. People that were mostly single mothers who were not married, taking care of like from Ethiopia, or girls that will come there, sold by their family to come there to work, and the money goes to their family directly.
So let me ask you a question. I just
Okay,
get some perspective here. Sorry for interrupting
okay,
your story.
okay, no
So
problem.
you came with the promise that you were coming to become a translator or a teacher to kids who didn't speak.
Yes,
That was what
yes,
you had in mind. And then somewhere along
yes,
the line, you found yourself as a caregiver or someone who was caring for a child with a disability. But then from there, it moved to the issue of you being a slave. In other words, now you're working in a very, what we call modern day slavery. The conditions of uh, are not acceptable by any standard at all. So, no food, no clothing, no actual payment, and you find yourself with a bunch of other women from other countries. Is that what you're saying?
yes, yes, yes. I had one from Kenya, one, two from Ethiopia. Around that
In the
COVID period,
all in the same all in the same compound.
the Kenyan is a sibling to my boss, the maid to the my boss siblings. But
Okay.
in the same compound, we had three. In a compound, we had three.
Okay.
Three
So
Nigerians.
what happened? What happened?
Okay. So
What
we're
happened?
there.
You only have 5 minutes or
The,
10 minutes to tell the story.
okay, okay. So we could not get paid. We're not getting paid. I'd already paid off the agents. They just kept piling up money. But I had to stay there. Remember, my baby was home. I had to stay there and finish the 2 years contract. So they wanted me to renew, and that was the fight. I stayed till I finished my contract, and I told them my contract is done. I am going back. They were plead, threats, and so many things just to cut this short because of the program. So I had to just leave, and I was brought back to Nigeria after I'd finished my contract for 2 years.
Wow.
The other lady, she was delayed for like few months. Okay, actually 2 years, 2 months, because they delayed me for like 2 years, 2 months, getting to the third month before I came back. So the other lady as well, they delayed her, they held her there. In fact, our own case was even terrible. The second one, Nafisat is her name. So our own case was even terrible. So we came back home. It's basically you coming back with almost nothing, and you starting from the scratch.
Wow.
And I came back 2 years ago. So from there, that was how I
So
was able to.
how long were you there for?
2 years, 3 months. Yeah,
Wow.
2 years, 3 months.
What would you say is the worst thing that happened to you while you were there?
Okay, there was a day I was sick, and I told my boss, "Mom, I'm sick. That is not my problem. You come here to work, so you must work.
Hmm.
That is not my problem. No drug, no food. I had to crawl. I had to, crawl to where the girl was, and the girl is as tall as me because I'm tall. The girl is very tall and she's huge. She had gotten up, she had pulled everywhere, removed her diaper, and I was to clean all that mess up. So I think that was I lay down there and I started praying and crying for strength because you had to work. Whether you are dying, whether you are not dying, nobody knows, nobody cares. You have to work. So I had to.
It's amazing you're saying this, because I know that uh, one doesn't have to go to Lebanon to get this kind of poor treatment. It happens in Nigeria. It happens in your
Yes,
own country. People
it does.
treat their house helps the same way. So
Yes,
if you traveled all the way to Lebanon to just receive this treatment, it's amazing because you could have got if that was what one was looking for, you could have found it very easily in your own state or just across your own neighborhood.
but yeah.
Yeah. So
But I
the
didn't
promise
really
there is
know about it.
yes,
I
exactly.
got there and I got stopped.
Yes, exactly. So
Yes.
with you now being stuck with all this thing, how were you able to come out? You said you came back to Nigeria 2 years ago. Was it
Yes, they actually brought me back after my contract was expired.
there was a very easy transition to come back then?
It was not. It was fight. I started calling calling agent, calling family, pray for me. It was hell. It
Wow.
was hell. But I've been good for them for 2 years. According to my boss, she said, "We know you. You are a child of God. You are good. I don't know, but maybe God just helped me."
Mm.
I remember the girl that I left there. She came before me, so I
Mm.
left after 2 years, 2 years, 3 months, I left there. She still had to stay for like roughly 2 months there. And she came before me. She was supposed to have gone like December. She left June or July.
Wow.
It was
W-
tug of war to leave.
and what would you say was the good side, something positive that you feel that came out of this whole thing?
I think for me, it has made me who I am today.
What does that mean?
The journey, even though sometimes I look at it that it was tough, but this resilience that I possess today, this close relationship that I have for God, and how I was able to, from all those mess, my life didn't get ruined. I created my channel where I do motivational talk, where I do relationship talk sometimes. It has been growth ever since I came back and open myself up for help, for growth. That's the highlight of my journey, and God. In fact, firstly, God.
Wow. This is a very interesting story. It just shows how when we navigate, how we're able to navigate through life challenges, and sometimes when life throws us a lemon, we can just slice it up and turn it into lemonade and have a good drink. I'm glad to hear that outside of that very tough experience you've had, especially with the loss of the immediate family members, and then you found yourself pregnant in a family where you felt the level of very high level of abuse, and then now you travel to the country and receive more abuse.
Yeah, more.
Just to come back now to now have a platform where you can now inspire others. Well done, Esther. Kudos
Thank you so
to
much.
you, and we thank God for His goodness and His mercy over your life. Uh,
Thank you.
Esther, where can people find you if they want to follow you? And as I'm announcing you on my platform, my friend, quickly go to your own platform and put everything about Broken No Shadow there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So on a serious note, tell me, what can we find you? I like the sound of the cock crowing in your background. It just shows you're in a village somewhere.
This is supposed to be the FCT of Nigeria. The
So you're an
capital.
Abuja Cox are big boys. Oh. Okay, so tell us, um, where can we find you? What's your platform called?
Okay, Love Gist with Esther on YouTube. My
Sorry,
name Esther Salifu.
this love,
Love Gist with Esther on YouTube.
the love gist,
Esther
Esther on
with
YouTube.
Estelle, yes, and Esther Salifu, my name, on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. If you were looking to follow Esther, look for her on Esther Salifu. Ignore the cock crowing in the background. It's just to show you that she's in a very comfortable environment where they still have real chickens moving
Yeah.
around. We don't see that in America, unless you're in the farm somewhere, or you're at the poultry. But yeah, so that's a nice sound. I can identify with it. But yeah, Esther, thank you so much for making our
Thank
time.
you.
I'm so glad that I know the time is so short, but I'm so glad you were able to share your story in spite of the fact that the pictures are not showing. And I know that if you go to her platform, you get to hear more about Esther. The good thing I take from Esther's story is that in spite of everything that life has for each and every one of us, and I'm talking to everyone who's listening to us today, that don't give up. Please do not give up. If you're feeling depressed or suicidal, call a helpline, find family members or a friend that you can honestly open up and talk to. Uh, just recently, I heard about a top executive who jumped off from his home and committed suicide. My heart went out to his family. My heart went out to his child or um, his friends. But most importantly, what came to my mind was that did he actually reach out for help? If you're out there and you're going through any of those suicidal thoughts, please, please, please find someone to help you. Find someone to encourage you, someone to uplift you, some kind of support. And for those of us who are just carrying on with our daily lives, check in with your friends, check in with your loved ones. Don't assume that everybody's fine. Don't just call people when you want money from them or when you want something from them. Every now and then, just check in, just make sure everybody's fine. A text or a call goes a long way. We need each other to survive. Thank you, Esther. I'm glad that you were able to come back and now you've created this platform where you're doing great work. And we'll hope to have you back again when your video is working. I'll check out your website, your handles to see what's going on. On behalf of the entire Broken Not Shattered staff and team, all the guys who are working in the backgrounds, the audio, the guys who do most of the um, heavy lifting on behalf of this program. I just want to thank you. But most importantly, also, I want to thank our audience who tune in every Sunday like clockwork just to support us. Please share and encourage and tell other people to go on to our platform and just like what you're hearing, um, notify so you can always get notifications when click the notification button so you can always be notified when there's another show coming up or session coming up. We're now on Spotify, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere where you can find a podcast in the world. The Broken Not Shattered, the BNS podcast is now there. Esther, well done, and we look forward to speaking with you anymore. Do you have one thing you want to share with our audience, Esther, before you leave? One thing?
Okay, and just like you said, like there's no situation that is worth taking your life for, and seek help, and move close to God. You might not really be deep into religion, but just know God for yourself and be close to Him.
I like that.
Thank you.
It's not about religion, it's a relationship. And on that note, with our three famous words, love, peace, and more grace, we look forward to seeing you same time next week on the BNS podcast. Thank you, Esther, and God bless you all.